I don't know if it was always like this, but I know that when I came up, it was a lot of what happens in the home stays in the home.
Right.
And when you don't talk about things and get it out there, there's no way to heal.
Thank you.
I gotta make sure the scully is leaning as far off of my head as humanly possible.
Really?
Yeah, man. Me and T.I., we got that in common. I want the scully on as little amount of my head as possible. I have it on because my head is cold because it's bald and it's cold, but I don't need it all the way on my head because then I would be hot. So you just have it, warming up the crown and everything else is good.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's weird, but it works. I have no words for it. I can't call it.
Anywho, welcome
to the J&O Show,
where we talk about
things that we were never told. I'm Jay.
And I'm O.
And now you know.
If you guys are new to our channel, please make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on those post notifications so you can know when we upload, all right? Because you never want to miss an episode, even though we shoot new ones every Friday at 4:30-ish. All right, typically. But anyway, today we wanted to jump right into a topic. So I don't know that this is necessarily something that we can say we've never been told, because I feel like it's things that are kind of talked around. I don't know if there's ever been I'm pretty sure there has been, but I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Anywho, what I was going to say was today I wanted to kind of talk about what are some of the issues between Black men and Black women. And I know that could be a lot. So we're probably not going to cover all that in today's episode. Maybe multiple parts. I don't know. We'll see. Comment down below and let us know what you think. I'm a Black woman. He's a Black man. So I'm going to ask him, even though, we're together, but it's okay. I'm just going to ask him some questions in regards to what he thinks are some of the issues between Black men and Black women. But if you guys have any ideas or thoughts as to what do you feel some of those issues are between Black men and Black women, definitely drop them in the comment section below so that we can talk about these things, because essentially in order for us to have stronger relationships, we got to get to the root. Okay, not the roots, but the root of our issues. All right, we got to talk about these things. We got to work it out. Okay, so we can work together. But anywho, yes.
Okay. Alrighty then.
So, dear, what would you say would be some of the, issues between Black men and Black women when it comes to relationships? Yes, sorry, when it comes to relationships, guys.
Okay. All right, so I would start this way. The first thing we got to do is understand history a little bit.
Okay.
There's a history of things that happen to us as Black people that affect our relationships. A lot of people don't take that into consideration, but it's a long-standing, the emasculation of the Black. A lot of that emasculation was done in front of women, buck breaking, all of these things that were done to male slaves to break them down, getting studs, or male slaves that they thought were virile to reproduce, and having your family taken in front of you and split up from each other, having your wife raped in front of you by Massa or Massa's son or Massa uncle or anybody that Massa felt should have taken your wife because you were a slave. You see the anger boiling up on the inside? Okay. But all of these things emasculated him. And you have to understand, a lot of that stuff is passed down. When they have children, all of that damage is getting passed down because they're doing things in the home that's passing down generation to generation to generation to generation. And because I don't know if it was always like this, but I know that when I came up, it was a lot of what happens in the home stays in the home.
Right. And
when you don't talk about things and get it out there, there's no way to heal.
True.
Wounds fester and they become harder to get rid of. And then they start to mold into different things. And then one thing is, with all of that breaking down of the Black man and the mental stress that was doing it, you have, you come into the 70s and the 80s, and a lot of Black men, when we finally got our freedom and we're supposed to be equal and we're out in the workforce and stuff like that, all of that stress is still in the back of our minds. Forget purpose. Purpose ain't a thing
right
at this time.
Okay.
It's survival. Oh, we can actually have a family and try to live and just be regular people is a big deal now. The problem with that is it has nothing to do with purpose. And if you are not on your purpose, especially as a man, I think women and men both is equally important, but with men it's a little different because we are not as geared towards family making as we are towards providing. And if you're out of purpose, providing becomes an issue. Because for a lot of men, it's hard for them to stay or want to be at a place where you're miserable for 50, 60 years to provide for your family, and you're miserable the whole time. We do that, and we've done that for a long time. I know a lot of black men who did that. And guess what they did? They drunk, and they cheated on their wives, and they were on drugs. And then all of that stuff passes on to the kids who are now growing up in essentially single parent homes because the mom is the one there because dad is always drunk or messed up or out or doing whatever he doing his dirt. And the kids, the mom is trying to raise the kids by themselves. And regardless of what anybody tells you, men and women are supposed to work together to raise kids. There are things that men offer that women don't, and there are things that women offer that men don't. And it's just a thing of, and it's a person-to-person thing. There are some men who are more nurturing. You know what I'm saying? And generally, you'll see those type of men get with women who are a little bit harsher. There's always a balance that is somehow maintained. There are things that are missing, but generally when people get together, there's a balance that is usually good for the kids that they bring off. Whoever tends to lean more towards discipline or more towards the nurturing. Usually it's the women, but that's not always the case.
Right.
So things like that are broken when you have a single parent home. I've seen single parents do some amazing, like they got some kids and you be like, dang, you did your thing. You was killing it, whether dad or mom, they're killing it. But them killing it by themselves, what it would have been if they would have had a partner who was offsetting the things that they missed, because everyone's going to miss something.
Right, because even when you have both parents,
you're going to miss something. But there's more ground covered when there are two of you.
Right.
So all of this stuff, all of this damage that we have, and I didn't even go over all. That was the lightest that I can do for a 15-minute video. Like I just glossed over so much damage between men and women that have happened. And then you get into a society where the independent woman rises up and all of this other stuff, but nobody is talking about what is it that a man is looking for. We start judging men because independent women are on the rise. You're starting to make money. Now you're judging men. Hey, you don't make money. That's not our standard. That's their standard. We're trying to... Rich white people. That's their standard. That's not our standard. That's theirs. Of course, they're like, oh, I got to make sure the man makes a lot of money. The country was built for you. So you have access to be able to make more money. You're educated to be able to make more money. You have the connections, which is more important than both of them. Just to have something out there. Everybody talks about how important education is. It is very important to black people because we don't have connections.
Right. So we have to have the education.
We have to have the education. But for the others who the country was built for, when you have the connections, you don't have to have the education.
Right.
You have to have the hookup.
Right.
And I've seen it in people around me who are black who were able to give each other hookups and double salaries. I've seen that because I know you. And because I can trust you to show up to work on time and do what you're supposed to do, they'll train you for the rest, even though you don't have the education, you don't have the training, you don't have the experience. Because we have the hookup, you can get that job. And that is more important than everything. So we start judging black women start judging and getting animosity a little bit, or like pulling away from black men based on things where we are handicapped and not taking into consideration why we're handicapped. It's not just because black men are lazy. That's not what it is. Because if we were lazy, this country wouldn't be so great because that was on our backs. Right. So be aware. But it's because black men have been disadvantaged from the jump and attacked from the jump. We're the ones that are usually dissected. It's just now coming to the point that the black woman is being dissected. What is she doing wrong in the home? Because she was always the victim because of all of the things that were happening around and to her. But when you're the victim all the time, you can develop some bad habits, especially if you start to take your cues as to what you're supposed to be looking for from other people, from other races who have advantages that you don't have.
And that's very interesting, because I was going to say, I forgot who it was that I was watching recently. I don't know if it was, maybe it was, what's her name from the video?
The Ellises?
No.
Not the Ellises.
Queen Latifah lady, man.
Oh, Shahrazad Ali.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was rocking the UNITY type of head wrap thing.
Shahrazad,
Anyway,
I
can't remember if it was her, but I'll try to remember to link this video in the description, what we're talking about. But I had never heard of her until we watched this particular YouTube clip of, what's her name again, babe?
Shahrazad Ali.
Yes, Shahrazad Ali, where she's written several books in regards to the Black family, but speaking specifically about the video that we watched was specifically speaking about, the book was entitled The Black Man's Guide to the Black Woman. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting that she pointed out is that we, Black, brown people, as women, we watched white women our whole lives
on TV
as to what we should aspire to, what is considered important, and all these different things. That was our role model in a sense. I mean, yes, you had mom in the home, but same thing with mom. Like, that was the role model, the role model that we had to look at. And we can't really set up our lives to look like that, because as Jay said, we're coming from two totally different places on the board, like two completely different places. So what Caucasian or people might aspire to, or how they look at their men, or what they expect from their men and different things like of that nature isn't the same, nor should it be the same that we should aspire or look to for our men. Because I look at other cultures, like I look at our Latina brothers and sisters, and I look at Asians and pretty much everyone else outside of the Caucasian race, and I don't see the friction between the men and the women like I do see it in our community. And I couldn't understand why that is. But watching that video and having this conversation and thinking about all the different things that Jay mentioned earlier in the video, just what happened to the Black man and the Black family, period. No wonder why there's so much friction or issues between us. And then we're not even going to talk about for the what war was that?
Civil War?
Basically, when the Black Panther movement came about, it was after.
That was way after Civil War.
Yeah, no, it was afterwards. No, because a lot of our men,
coming back from that,
a lot of our men went off to war, and all the issues that we had to deal with them coming back. And then because of us not having certain equalities and different things of that nature, when they came back from the war, it's like, okay, now what am I going to do? Like, I don't have the connections to go and get a job, to get a job that's going to be able to take care of me and my family. I might be able to go and get something that can barely keep a roof over our heads. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that in it of itself, I think, is, to your point, one of the major issues. Like, I don't feel as though we can necessarily expect the same. And I think we need to start changing that narrative and looking more towards what's important to us. You know what I mean? And what that looks like, and stop looking towards the television and looking towards people who don't look like you to set expectations within our homes.
Yeah, that was huge. That was the word. Expectations is the first one. What Black women expect from Black men, because of all of the damage that has happened to us, not just Black men, but Black people in general. You can't expect the same thing from them that you would expect from a man of any other color in our country. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you're Latino, it doesn't matter if you're Asian, it doesn't matter if you're white. Nobody has gone through what we've gone through here and continue to go through. Right. Not on the level that we've gone through. It's been hard for other people, for sure. It's even hard for the white man. Right. I understand that, because the suicide rate between men and women is disproportionately skewed towards men. The men have issues dealing with the stress of being a man and having the pressure put on them that is there in general. Right. But none of them have dealt with what we as black men have had to deal with.
Right.
So that is something to consider first. There's a lot more, because a lot of black men have done some real stuff that is part of the reason why there's friction too, because a lot of black men were taking out all of that frustration on black women. And a lot of black men were just absent from all of the stress because they were drunk and high and scared out of their minds because they're miserable. So it's so many parts to it, but I guess part one is a great start. Expectation is definitely one, because that deals with history. If you don't deal with history, there will be backlash.
Yes, and you will repeat it.
And you will repeat it. So for us, starting there as the first one for the first video is actually really good. Expectations based on our history. That's good. Sounded good. All right. Yeah, all right. High five. Yeah. Sometimes we know what we're doing. Sometimes. All right, guys. I guess that was going to be it for the video.
Yes. For today's episode, at least for this part,
yeah,
we have to...
we'll do a part 2 and maybe 3, 4, and 5, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
This is a packed subject.
But it's very important, because we have to figure out how we can lift ourselves up.
Yes.
And it's so important for us to have these conversations as a people. No disrespect to any other cultures or any other... no disrespect to them. We got love for y'all. We love y'all. I love diversity.
Yeah.
I love different cultures. I mean, it's beautiful, and we're all God's children at the end of the day. I always tell people, like, we're not going to have segregated heavens.
Right.
So if you can't learn how to get along down here, well,
right.
I don't know where you think you're going.
Right.
But I think it's important for us to deal as a people, brown and black people. I think it's important for us to deal with our history, deal with our issues, because we really have to figure it out for us. Nobody else is going to do it. Very true. And so I'm going to get off my soapbox for now. But that was it. And like I said, if you guys have any topic or what your thoughts are on this particular topic, definitely drop it down below and put hashtag Nextshow, so that way we can filter through and make sure that, we listen and we give you basically what you want. Give people what they want. All right. But till next time, guys. Peace.
Press the off button.